name's Jesus. Welcome to the Real Estate Talk podcast, which is, if you've seen the logo, it's really supposed to be like a play on whether it's like real talk, so I could talk about whatever the fuck I want, or, real estate talk where we're going to talk about real estate. Today, we're going to talk about real estate. Next week now, I have something that has nothing to do. I'll keep that a little bit of a secret, but it's going to be nothing to do with real estate. But today, it's going to be 100% real estate. Now, what's the title again today, Cadillac?
It's top 5 reasons agents quit the business and a bunch of mistakes they make.
Okay, so top 5 reasons agents leave the business and
The top mistakes they make.
top mistakes they make. Yeah, so I know we wrote down a long list of stuff, but we went back through like a couple titles and stuff. So that's the fancy title for today.
Sure. We can lead off right away with one that I know that you, as a broker, as the guy that the complaint department, the one that agents always come and talk to.
Yeah.
Unreasonable expectation. Top reason why they quit right there.
Yeah, well, let me, my heart, if I had a heart rate monitor right now, my heart rate would be going fucking through the roof. It's unrealistic expectation. Let me tell you what helps me get them to understand. I usually do that in we're okay. You're looking at me like we're all right, good. I look at me like we weren't recording or something. You had that look in your face. I had to start all over again.
Don't tell them.
You're like kind of waving me off. All right, so it's I usually have like an initial meeting with them, where it's a group of people. So I'll ask, all right, well, how many of you went to school, went to university here? Everybody's going to raise their hand and everything like that. Now, the interesting thing, whoever's, for those 1 or 2 listeners that are in other parts of the state, Miami's an interesting place because we have an influx of people from all over the world here. So in my office, we have about 350 realtors, right? I must have 30 attorneys, 20 something, 30 architects. I've had several doctors. I've had, so people that are, people with economics degrees and everything. So it's real people that are, in their countries were, higher class educated type people. And, they come here and they got to start all over again. So Miami's one of those places. So I'm just kind of putting you guys in my world for a little bit. So you got people here that are very prepared, very equipped, usually don't really speak English, or they speak it, kind of enough to get by. But Miami is a place that you could spend 30, 40 years here without speaking a lick of English.
Not a word, yeah.
So what I usually do is, back to the unrealistic expectations. I have people say, okay, well, who's been to university here? So, a lot of them are going to raise their hand for the reason I just mentioned right now. And then I'll be like, all right, well, how much did you get paid to go to school? They're like, obviously they look at me like I'm a fucking moron, and what are you talking about, And then I'm like, oh, exactly. That look that you have in your face is the look I have in my face when you guys are getting paid to learn something that is going to make you more money than what you went to school for. Because not for nothing, but I don't want to be Mr. Show Off guy and everything, but I've consistently made more money than people that have gone to school for these business degrees and so again, it's no knock on education. I'll knock on education in another podcast. Okay, so formal education, I could talk about hours on that, but it's you got to be realistic to this business. So if you're learning this business and it takes you 4 years to master it, let's say 4 or 5 years, which is usually what an average education would consist of, correct?
Sure, an average degree.
But you're making
money throughout the process. Yeah.
Let's call it 20 grand.
Yeah.
Let's call it the minimum you need to live and survive. Let's call it like you are ramen noodles.
Subsisting.
I thought you were gonna say Subway. Yeah, Subway and ramen noodles, subsisting, water with sugar. I'm talking about you're fucking suffering through it for 4 years. But you're in business, you're in real estate for 4 years, full time. You've graduated.
Yeah,
you've graduated. You've been through almost all of it. Okay, and now you're ready to make the real money. It usually doesn't take you that long. No. You know, I tell people the first year is going to suck. I didn't make a buck on my first year. I was a late bloomer, right? It took me a little bit to get up and running, but you know, people want to come in here and they want to start making the big bucks right away. They watch those fucking stupid infomercials.
And that's the place I think that this comes from. And because one of the main ideas is sourcing where they're getting their impression of what this business is going to be like, because everybody walks into a job with an idea, some idea of like, hey, this is what this is going to be like. And so where are we gleaning this from? And I think the HDTV, the you know, the movies kind of put this
Flippers,
picture.
all those HDTV shows.
Look,
and making millions. And
here's the reality: the show with the porpoise about Flipper was much more realistic than the shows about flippers flipping houses. That porpoise being able to understand what people are saying and go out and, you know, saving people and whatever. Yeah, because the flipping shows, that's fiction. All right, it just is. There is a flipping business that exists, but those shows are not showing you an accurate representation of how that is. Right? So people come in with this expectation, and unfortunately there's this period for these folks that come in with unrealistic expectations where they have to get their heart broken. It's part of the real estate experience. And so one of the things that I always like to do when I was hiring employees back when I was doing a lot of hiring for some of my businesses, I would always tell them what the job was going to be like, and then worse. I always made the job sound worse than it was. Yeah. Like if there was one thing that I knew that nobody wanted to do, I'd be like, yeah, you got to do it every single day. Now, it turns out they have to do it once a week. But you know what? They went in thinking they had to do it every day. And when they only had to do it once a week, they were happy.
Tanks every day.
Got to get in there with a scrub brush and a toothbrush. The toothbrush is very important on your hands and knees, right? And so when they didn't have to do that every single day, they were happy. But if I had left that out, that they had to do that at all,
they had to do it once,
they would have flipped out. So it's important to manage ourselves to some extent, manage our expectations. Come in. The thing I tell people all the time is expect it to be hard.
Yeah.
It's a hard business. There's a reason why the attrition rate in this business, how often people leave, is like 90% every 2 years. It's crazy, the turnover rate.
Yeah, it's been, since I've been around, it's been 80% failure rate. Ish, 80 to 90% failure rate, guys. And listen, here's the thing, and here's what I appreciate about the people that do survive in this. You're fucking crazy. Getting into something where you have an 80% failure rate, it's kind of insanity if you really think about it, right? Now, those 20 that make it, I tell you what, guys, would I have liked to be a famous athlete, or, you know, listen, I was a boy and I had my, you know, my pipe dreams and everything like that. And I say, oh man, if I could have and I would have. But if you look at all the athletes that are broke, then maybe I picked the wrong, you know, I'm just now starting to get into my groove, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm getting into my prime right now when they're like super retired already. So, you know, it's one of those things that real estate has offered me, friendships. We just did like I was saying earlier in the podcast, we just did podcast number 7, which is a buddy of mine, Mark, that I've closed hundreds of deals with. Listen, I tell you the stories of this. Me and this guy. I mean, we were inflatable mattresses and in shit cities all over Florida trying to sell real estate, and we went through it. It was ramen noodle time, and it was water time. So you do a lot of these things. Look, I have my banker right now. My banker's a guy who started as a teller, is a president of the bank right now. When he was a vice president first, and then he was a president. Now he's a president of the whole South Florida. So you see and you get these friends. My attorney Richard, which has been on the podcast a bunch of times. You see these people growing, and you see that. Listen, I met Cadillac in a CCIM course, and yep. I think we went to. Did we do Ohio together? Or what was it? We went to one.
I think we met in St. Augustine, maybe.
Right, it was St. Augustine.
Tampa. I know we did one in Tampa too. I think.
Yeah. So and now you're traveling the country, teaching for the association, National Association of Realtors, and you're an instructor now. You know what I'm saying? So it's a cool thing. It's a beautiful thing to grow in this business, and now being able to offer my 20 plus years of experience, what was it? Thomas Edison said, I ran out of wrong ways to do the light bulb. I didn't get
found
the right way.
10,000
Right,
ways that
wrong
didn't make a light bulb. Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things that it's a cool position to be in right now, where I could speak like confidently on
place of knowing.
and with a place, and tell you guys, listen. This business is a beautiful business. This business is going to give you the freedom. This business is going to allow you to do whatever the hell. You could go ahead and you could tell yourself, I am going to work my ass off for 10 months and I'm going to disappear for 2. I'm going to go to fucking Alaska. I'm going to go wherever. I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm going to hire an assistant for those 2 months just to answer phone calls. And then I'm going to come back. You could do whatever you want. You could work 6. It just depends on what you're looking for in this business, but it allows you that freedom. As a parent, for me, I just want to be in my kids' practices. I just want to, I just want to be at their sporting events. I just want to be able to, travel the country and go to these big tournaments and everything like that, and not have to worry that somebody's going to tell me that I can't.
Yeah. You're fired. Yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
You know what? Fuck you. You're going to tell me I can't go to my son's event? That I'm gonna miss a major memory, or my daughter's tennis. My just so you guys know, my son wrestles and does jujitsu, and my daughter plays tennis. So you know what? I'm not going to miss a game. I'm not going to, because I don't want to. So this business allows me to do that. It allows me to look.
Freedom.
Mark, same guy. We went to London together for business. It's actually another London story that really. Okay, so you want a cool real estate story, because I think we're trying to motivate people and let them understand that this business is a beautiful business. So I've been doing business with the A-Rod guys, A-Rod, the baseball player. I was selling a bunch of their product, a bunch of their real estate and everything like that. So I had to jump on a plane to go to a real estate convention, because I had a project in Orlando I needed to sell real estate for. All right, I needed to sell it, and then back then in Orlando, the people that were buying Orlando were people from England for whatever reason. It goes Canada, and then it goes Brazil, and then Orlando's a weird place like that. If you guys don't know, there's always some cycle. Somebody's always buying Orlando.
Somebody's currency is doing well.
Exactly. In that particular case, it was that the dollar. It was like half. I mean, you would both.
The pound was killing it.
The pound was killing it. So I always do everything in beers, right? So it costs you $15 to buy a beer. You know what I mean? So that's for whatever reason, that's the way it makes sense to me.
Beer ratio, of course.
Right. So I'm going over there for this real estate convention, where I'm gonna go sell Florida real estate and tell these guys, hey, come buy my real estate. So I get to the airport, and I'm like, oh shit, Pepe, what are you doing here? Pepe's A-Rod's a manager, best friend, the whole situation, and he's the guy that I've known him my whole life, but he's the guy I was doing business with and selling all these projects for A-Rod and everything. And I go, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to London. I'm like, me too. He's like, I'm like, he's like, what are you going for? I'm going for a real estate convention. What are you doing? I'm going for a Jay-Z concert. I'm like, no way. Like, can I, and he goes, you want to go? I'm like, damn right, I want to go. So long story short, I get to London, I think the concert was the next day. I meet him. I meet him at the arena. I go in to the back room, not even the VIP. It's like where Jay-Z is chilling out,
the green room,
where everybody's smoking weed. The green room, everybody's smoking weed and drinking, and a bunch of famous. I'm pretty sure Beyonce was there. There was like 3 or 4 different rappers there. Jay-Z was there. Everybody was playing cards. Everybody was drinking. Everybody was watching TV and just hanging out. All of a sudden, we get the cue that, hey, all right, Jay-Z's ready to perform. So he goes out. We walk with him. All of a sudden we go to a 3-layered thing in the middle of the arena. So the stage is like further along, but we're right in the middle. So there's 3 layers. Even the layer number 1 is VIP. So we're in the VIP, but all of a sudden then we get into another VIP. So there's like little stairs, and there's like another level that's a VIP. Mm-hmm. So VIP of the VIP. Mm-hmm. And then for whatever reason, there's another VIP, which is interesting, because now it's A-Rod's best friend, Jay-Z's best friend, me, a bottle of vodka, right? And it's just us. I mean, it's just us four sitting down watching a Jay-Z concert. I mean,
I like how the bottle of vodka made the count.
dude, that motherfucker was going in for sure. So then concert ends, we go to the back, party some more. All of a sudden, we go behind we're in the guts of the arena and everything. We jump in like a bunch of Mercedes trucks and we hauling ass all through the streets of London, end up in some restaurant, 4:00 in the morning. They opened it up for us. It was pretty cool. So listen, I have other ones. I have other stories. They're a little bit, I want to call them X-rated, but definitely R-rated.
Yeah.
That real estate has offered me on a lot of fun shit. I had an office in the Bahamas for 4 years, so it's a beautiful business. I highly recommend it to anybody. I would recommend it to my kids. And but again, it doesn't start there.
I think if I'm going
Doesn't
to
start at a Jay-Z concert.
I think if I'm going to summarize what you're saying is real estate gives you a tremendous number of opportunities, but it's not going to give you any gifts. You're going to have to go out there and work for them. And so those opportunities come from a lot of hard work, and a lot of times that hard work pays off in very unexpected ways. Even how we met, it pays off in unexpected ways. You get good things you weren't even going in anticipating.
Well, listen, and when we met, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I think we've talked about it. But so we met, and you're like, I had done some short sales, but I was struggling already. I've been doing short sales since 2001. Like I way before they were cool. But I meet you, and then I'm like, yeah, short sales come up, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm having a fucking super hard time closing these things. And you're like, seriously, dude, I'm killing it with the short sales. I'm like, what?
That's right.
You got to be kidding me. You introduced me to Cody, and we closed hundreds of those things. I mean, it was like closing after closing after closing. So, those are the things, meeting people, and I hate networking now. I hate it now.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But at the beginning, it's a really important part of the business, man.
I've never been good at it. It's never been my thing. But it's
tough.
And here's the thing. I mean, when it comes down to it's really about finding a couple of things that you're good at. And so that's the reason why it's hard work. On the way in, you have to take and figure out what in this business you're going to be good at, and then do those things consistently. And you don't have to do everything right. I mean, like, you don't have to do every single thing. But you do have to find those one or two things that you'll consistently do that are going to keep you in the business and successful. We got to move on though.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
All right. Failure to plan, basically lack of budgeting, lack of preparedness going in. Agents aren't ready for the financial commitment it's going to take to go into the business.
Yeah. Well, look, again, in my world, I rarely have agents that show up with a savings account with a war chest and says, "Oh, I have X amount of months." It's rare,
sure,
that I have X amount of time to have them to produce. So, I don't know if I'm skipping, but one of the things that really helps me out with being ready to survive those first couple of months is working rents. Mm-hmm. Okay, so am I skipping to another number there?
Yeah, but it's okay.
All right.
Good.
I like it keeps me organized here, but I'm fucking up his organization. It looks like.
No, it's fine.
All right, so yeah, it's rents. What happens with rents is, again, so people when they start real estate, they usually don't have months and months. So what happens with rents, and I wish I would have figured this out when I first started, is you start working the rents, they suck. They're horrible. You make very little money, but you start getting the hang of it, and you can start making money month one, and it allows you to get to month 3, 2 or 3 or 4 when you actually start making the first and the second and the third sale. And that's really what your number 2 is there, Cadillac. It's when you close. So second mistake is really not budgeting. Mm-hmm. So when you close your first deal, you've been 3 months in the business and you close your first deal, you got to figure out a way to budget marketing into your sale. So let's call it a $15,000 commission. You have already spent that thing. I mean, you have gone out to dinner. You've rented a Ferrari for one day, and done a rap video to tell all your friends how good you're doing. I mean, you've done a million things, or you've paid a bunch of bills. But here's the thing. Here's the danger in that. You gotta, from day one, start budgeting a certain amount for marketing, because if not, if you don't have a steady flow of new clients coming in,
pipeline.
If you don't have that pipeline consistently growing, you will have like peaks and valleys. You'll have these ups and downs. You'll do 3 deals in a month, right? And then all of a sudden, and then hey, there he is. Look at Mike. Then all of a sudden, come here, Mike. Then all of a sudden, you'll spend 3 months without closing a deal. You know, come in. So all of a sudden you spend 3 months closing a deal. So you close one or you close three, and then all of a sudden you spend four. So all of a sudden you spend that money. Yeah. All right. And then that's the issue. That's the issue there. We're not having these steady
filet mignon to ramen noodles and back and forth.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you gotta budget. You gotta budget. And Mike just walked in right now. Mike's one of our top agents here, and he's one guy that consistently, I mean, marketing is part of his life. He's always putting that money in, and he closes and he budgets and he puts it back in and he reinvests it. So if you guys don't do that from day one, you're going to have to do it in day 10 or day 15 or day 100. So you're going to have to do it. So you might as well start building those habits from the beginning. So that first deal that you close, let's call it $15,000. You better start imagining it's 12.
Right.
Right. And don't count on 15, count on 12. So you could invest those 3 and then continue on. And all of a sudden, guess what, guys? Your next deal is going to come a lot sooner because now you got $3,000 to market.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I think this one ties in very well with the next one, which is that you have to think about it as a business. And with a business, you don't just take and make profits. There's a cost to make those profits. You know, it cost me $1 to build the thing I sold for $5. You can't spend all $5 because it costs you $1 to make the thing in the first place. If you're going to make more of them, you have to put that $1 back in, at least that $1 back in.
Yeah.
And so the idea of thinking about your business as a business on the way in, from a time management standpoint, from a self-accountability standpoint, from the standpoint of not getting distracted at work when that person wants to come up to you and tell you talk about, you know, hey, did you see the game on Sunday and how the Dolphins managed to magically lose again? I'm sorry, that might be a pain point for some people.
Well,
you know, there are people that will come and suck your time out of your business if you're not careful. And so running your business like a business, managing your time, we're going to talk more about in detail on that a little bit later on.
Yeah, but let me add to that. Okay, so there's a cultural thing behind that. Not culture like as far as ethnicity or anything like that. I mean like culture as a lot of people that come into this business, they come in from a full-time job, a 9 to 5, right? And there's a major culture shock when they come in, and every 2 weeks somebody doesn't hand you a check. You don't eat if you don't hunt.
Absolutely.
You don't eat if you don't hunt. So that you guys got to start understanding when you come into this business that if you let the pressure kill you, if all of a sudden in week number 2 no check comes in and oh shit, and then all of a sudden month passes by, no checks, and you start freaking out, you'll start spiraling so damn fast that you might not recover from it. So you got to put yourself in a mindset that you either start closing rents right away, so you got to at least start paying these bills, but you got to understand that it's no rhyme or reason for it. You might have, you know, let's say for rents, for example, if you want to start with those, and you might close 5 rents on the second month, and it's all within 1 week. So you have spent, you know, almost 2 months without closing a deal, and all of a sudden they all come in at the same time.
Absolutely.
So that's just, there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no rhythm to when you're getting the checks here, and that's something you got to get used to at the beginning.
And I think also that, you know, when you're at a 9 to 5 job, you're kind of running out the clock. Like I show up at 9, okay, I go to the bathroom till 9:30, then I go to the water cooler and I talk to people. In our business, in this business, nobody's standing over your head with a baseball bat saying, what are you doing at the water cooler? You're supposed to be working. You have to do that to yourself. And so coming in with the concept, like, you know, I think there's a lot of times, and as a broker, you could probably speak to this, there's almost a surprise that the broker is not holding them more accountable in a lot of offices that I see.
Yeah.
That, you know, like, well, aren't you supposed to be like telling me what to do and making sure that I'm doing it? And, you know, the broker is only capable of doing so much. I mean, this office is kind of an unusual one in that you've pretty much made that your full-time job to facilitate your agents' growth and help them.
I'm abnormally up their ass.
Yes.
Is one way to put it.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, my messages, you know, we have these chats and these messages and everything like that where they're not always nice.
Amateur proctologist.
Yeah, it's hey guys, what's up? We're gonna get to work, or what are we gonna do? You know, so it's I'm not rude, or I'm not mean or anything like that. But you know, listen. You want to be here, there's a certain accountability, and we got to start producing, and we got to start doing our stuff.
And so I've always thought that was a good thing for helping bridge that gap between what they're used to and this having to be your own boss. Like this idea that, hey, look, you know, if I goof off, I'm not going to get paid anything. And so there is kind of that culture shock in that sense too, going from a 9 to 5 job to this other thing. But moving on,
Yeah.
not educating themselves, not taking the time to learn things. And this is one of mine that I love. But I'll throw this out to you because I met you 20 years in the business in a CCIM class.
Yeah.
You were taking a class. So go ahead and talk
Yeah.
about
So yeah, listen, I've mentioned that in several podcasts now. Educating yourself is key. If you're not getting yourself better, and that's one thing that I definitely see. You're so wrapped up in making the next buck. You're so wrapped up in I got to pay the bills and I got to pay the bills that you're not making yourself better. And then what happens is you have spent 3 years trying to pay the bills and you've never gotten better and you've never taken it to the next level. This business has levels. This business has levels. This business has a person who could close $100,000 deal and a person could close a $10 million deal. Here, the dirty little secret is that the $10 million deals are easier than the $100,000 deals. The bigger the deal is, the easier they are. But you got to be psychologically ready to be there. You got to have gone through you got to have some negotiation classes. You got to feel comfortable in that room and you got to work your way through that room. And that only happens through preparation. And I made fun of organized, education a little while ago, but let me not, I want to make sure I'm clear here. You better educate yourself. Get those books, get those audio books, go to the seminars,
Absolutely.
get on YouTube. Or if not, you won't last long or you'll stay at the same level. You'll always be the $100,000 home realtor. And that's not why we're here.
The reality of it is you're absolutely right. Your opportunity are going to come from what you know. And I will say to you, I will absolutely admit to you that many of the classes I took wasted a ton of my time. I would never say that about CCIM. CCIM really, I felt like raked us over the coals for the entire time. That was hardcore.
It was a nightmare.
But
I've never felt stupider. Is that stupider a word? I have never felt more stupid than that CCIM class. It was the scariest thing in the world. I was like, wow, I am just not prepared for this world.
But we learned a lot.
Oh, yeah.
We learned a lot.
And how much I don't know.
Absolutely. Well, that's the first thing. That's the first place to start is to learn. Hey, look, I don't know all this stuff, right? But you're constantly trying to take and make your product. In this business, your product really is you, your knowledge, your expertise, a better product for your customer. If you're a better product, if you're a better agent, your customer, you have a broader appeal to customers in general. The customer now has you as an advocate, as somebody that they can depend upon. You can speak to all sorts of things that they're not going to be able to get that from somebody else. And so here's the thing. This is the big one for me. Most people will spend $150,000 a year or $150,000 to go get a 4-year education in something that they're going to get a piece of paper that maybe they wind up getting a job in that.
Maybe. For big maybe.
This is the business you're actually in. Why the hell would you not actually spend money back into your own business to make your prime commodity, you, a better version of you, in the business that's actually paying the bills?
It gets even worse than that. It gets even crazier than that because now you're actually in a business. So if you go learn a skill, let's say you focus the next 3 months and you dive into negotiation. Let's say you come out of that hole, you go into a rabbit hole, and by the time you get out, you have watched every video, you have read every book that exists, and in the next 3 months, 90 days, you are a better negotiator. And you go from selling $300,000 properties to $1 million properties. Very realistic. So within a year, you could drastically change your career. And guess what? We get paid in percentages.
That's right.
So all of a sudden you went from a $300,000, let's call it a 3%, $9,000 to a $30,000 commission. So you have tripled your income. Mm-hmm. If all of a sudden you feel more confident and you're able, I'm telling you guys, I said that story before. I felt confident when I first started. I guess if I analyze it, since I started in a trailer park, I grew up in a trailer park, I didn't feel confident going to $1 million house. I had to go to the hood, the worst neighborhood possible, to knock on a $100,000 door. Guess what? I made myself better so that I could feel better and sell. Honestly, I could go and talk to anybody on any house, and I'm having the same conversation. I'm speaking real estate. I've built my confidence through education. So, yeah. The title, the exact title of that is what? Of that rule?
Not educating themselves.
Not educating, yeah. So go out there and educate yourself.
And more than that, invest in yourself, because that's really what it is. And I mean, look, I know that maybe you sit there and you're like, oh, I knew that. But look for the gem. Look for the nuggets. Look for the thing you didn't know. and go in there like an archaeologist looking for that one piece of something valuable in a desert full of sand, right? That's what you're going in there for. Now, some classes are more rich than others. I write a bunch of classes. I try to make them rich in this stuff because I know what it is to have my time wasted. But go out there and pursue it, because at the end of the day, it makes you a better version of you. And the biggest person that wins in that circumstance is you.
Yeah.
All right, another one.
So where we're at, this is number 4 now?
This is number 5.
Okay, that
Last
was
one.
nice.
Yeah, we're moving.
So this is number 5 of what?
Of reasons why agents quit.
Reasons why agents quit.
Well, this is the thing that drives them out of the business. So, they don't educate themselves. They're not getting a better quality of business. They leave. Right? Not taking it personally. Agents that go in and kind of go in, and I'm not saying take it personally when you get rejection. That's because that's an easy way to misunderstand this.
Well, but if you're making cold calls and you're getting, if the national statistics on success, again, you talk about being crazy and starting in this fucking business that's an 80% failure rate. Okay, so here, let me tell you another one that's fucked up. All right, you gotta be ready for this. Out of 100 phone calls, if 95% of them hang up on you, you're kicking ass.
Yep, you're doing well.
So because a high average is 5% success rate. So if you're closing 5 deals out of 100, you're kicking ass. If you're doing 10, you're a galactical superstar.
Yep, you're a rock star.
So now again, that's why don't take it personal. You're going to get no's here.
Absolutely. But you have to take the business personally, in the sense that this is my business. And I do it well, not because my broker's going to yell at me, not because I'm going to get in trouble. I do it well because that's how I do what I do. I'm going to take and commit to do these things, whether it's to get up early and make my cold calls or FISBOs or whatever I'm going to take and do. I commit to those things and I do them. I take it personally as a reflection of me. And if this business fails, it's because I've let myself down, as opposed to kind of people holding back and kind of putting, as you said earlier, putting one foot in and keeping one foot out.
Yeah, but here's the thing: there's also the don't take it personal if you're knocking on doors. You want to stop caring, like for real, about phone calls. Knock on 1,000 doors. You want to talk about the most. Look, we live in Miami, so heat is a real issue. Knocking on doors at 100-degree weather is a problem.
It's the opposite of fun.
It's the opposite of fun. So now you're knocking on doors. People are not opening the door, looking through a window and saying, no, I don't want to talk to you. People opening the door and slamming it on you. Do that at the beginning and watch how you stop caring about people hanging up on you. You got to get to the point where you could put a heart monitor on me and I can make these phone calls and it doesn't matter how they hang up on me, because I have made thousands. I have put my 10,000 hours in
Absolutely.
phone calls. I have put those. I sincerely don't give a fuck what they think, how they hang up on me. It doesn't matter. It's a game. It's a video game. It's that home run. What's that home run quote from? What's the home run guy? The old school baseball player. I'm not a baseball. Babe Ruth. That guy. Babe Ruth. Hey, that guy. Babe Ruth. Every strike gets me closer to a home run.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's always stayed in my head as the number one. Okay, I got another strike. Okay, great. Because statistically, in this business, I don't have to guess what the stats are. I know what the stats are. If I make a certain amount of phone calls, I'm going to get a certain amount of success. I'm going to get a certain amount of no's. I'm going to get some really good yeses, right? Like, oh man, I just got $1 million deal that's going to refer me another $10 million deal, and this is the best door I've ever walked into. And I'm gonna have the one that hangs up on you and
abuses you
and reports you to the do not call list, right?
Absolutely.
Calls the association and puts a report. You're gonna have those.
Absolutely.
Who cares? Who cares?
No, and it's kind of funny watching agents that have done a lot of cold calls and that sort of thing. Watching them, as opposed to new agents. New agents, they get abused on a phone call and they're like in tears. An agent that's been doing it for a long time, they have that happen. Like, wow, that was a new one. I hadn't heard that one before. That's pretty creative.
Yeah,
the way they hung up on me.
I have I have this agent. I call her the gangster. Right. So she's an older lady. She's and all of a sudden she starts the phone call. She starts the calls and she's fucking fucking kicking ass with these calls, man. I'm like, damn, this lady, she had told me she had done some telemarketing, but like, man, she really doesn't care, man. She's going through it, and she's, knows or mean nothing to her and everything like that. And I'm like, hey, Margarita, I call her a gangster because she's a Venezuelan lady, doesn't speak English, but she's Italian, right? Aside from that, she gets, she doesn't like to drive for whatever reason, so she'll either have an Uber or somebody will pick her up. So she gets driven around. She's Italian, you know what I'm saying? She's the gangster, and doesn't give a fuck. And I asked her, hey, what did you sell? What do telemarket sell? She's like, sexual products, right? Like it was either like male enhancement pills, or it was. So, dude, I tell you what, you spend years of your life
You've heard it all.
calling somebody randomly and selling them a dildo or a male enhancement pill or a pump or a whatever the hell.
How do you even start that conversation?
I have no idea. I should ask her. I should bring her on.
Absolutely.
And like, all right. So again, like my buddy Mark says, what's that saying? He said with the feet, you're the guy with no shoes.
Don't complain about having no shoes. Think about being the guy with no feet.
Right. So listen, I tell you what, for her, there's no complaint about these calls. These calls are a walk in the park for her.
And so
a walk in the park.
And so I think that what we're kind of saying here is to not sweat the rejection of the call, but to 100% be in on taking the business itself personally, getting better at those, reducing that number of no's. Take that personally. Make that your mission.
Yes.
It's not about the no. It's about how do I make
the
this
percentage
a yes.
of yeses.
Yeah, like how do I? For me, in the business, the place that I'm in, I love taking a tough customer that was just brutal, and turning him into yes. I told you we had the customer walked in the office and he's like, I want an open listing or leave.
Right.
And so when I turned him to a yes, man, I walk out of that office feeling like $1 million because there's no way I could have done that back when. Yeah. And so that's where I can see the growth, but I take that personally. That's something that I commit to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Before we go any further, I got to take and put this out there. If there's any questions you have or any comments, anything you'd like us to talk about, by all means, leave a comment on YouTube or Instagram. 100%.
I think it's easier if you go thinking about it now. Go to our Instagram, which is, what's our Instagram?
Real Estate Podcast.
Real Estate Talk Podcast. So Real Estate Talk Podcast. And send us an instant, a direct message. What's a cool term for the? Is a direct message? DM me. All right. Yeah. DM me. Any questions that you guys have, or specific topics or anything like that. I think it's better that than YouTube. Yeah. So direct messages on our Instagram. So the Real Estate Talk.
All right. So kind of changing gears here a little bit. Want to kind of switch over to the idea of, we've told them how not to quit. Like if you're going to go in, now you can go in with your eyes wide open. And these are the things that are going to keep you from quitting. These are like the big ideas that are going to keep you in business. Now,
once you got your head straight, now let's talk about the stuff that's going to
the actual practical, like day-to-day stuff. So top one on the list, I don't know if this happened by happenstance or just how we wrote the list, but not communicating with customers.
Oof. Yeah. Let me tell you something that, a little tip that, so I still have clients. How can I say? I try not to have clients, and I know it sounds stupid, but I try not to have clients because I'm so busy with the with taking care of the agents and everything like that. But if somebody calls me and says, hey, I'm going to give you 50 homes, that's usually what it comes down to. Hey, hey, listen, I want you to sell 50 homes for me. I'm not a fucking idiot either. I'm gonna take it. So, I'm still
fine.
I'm still active. I'm still active when it comes to that. And one thing that I've always learned, you never want the client calling you for an update.
Absolutely.
Ever. You better call them first. Because I tell you what, the tone completely changes.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm calling you with an update. Here's what's up. They're calling you with an update. Hey, text them an update. Let them know. Daily. Hey, client that came by yesterday said this and this and this. Hey, person's getting pre-qualified. We're waiting for them to come. Hey, didn't qualify, but we got another. Just keep them in the loop. If you disappear from a client, it's like disappearing from a girlfriend. All right? You don't call your girlfriend for 30 days, right? You don't call your girlfriend for... You probably don't have a girlfriend. And she probably at least found a boyfriend for at least one night during those 30 days. That's just the same thing. Pretend... If you sign a 6-month contract, that's your girlfriend or that's your boyfriend for the next 6 months. You can't spend weeks without calling them. You got to send them a love text once a day.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
I think that the problem is that agents get too wrapped up in surviving in the business that they forget the necessary empathy.
The human part of it.
To think about, hey, look, if this was my only property that I own and I just gave it to an agent and I don't hear from them, they're thinking about one. I know you might be thinking about 50 properties, but they're thinking about one, and they're your customer. They deserve for you to take and show them that you take it seriously. Personally, I mean, I'm more active in the business probably now than you are. I actively work as an agent. If I have a customer contact me and it's like because they haven't heard from me, oh my God, I feel like garbage.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like I've let them down. I know that I now, even though they might be happy, there's no complaint in the text. It's like, hey, just was checking on, it's been a week. I feel like I have to do damage control on my end. I need to take and build back the goodwill that I lost by letting that circumstance occur. Because for me, that customer goodwill is what keeps me from having to advertise.
Yeah.
Because that customer is the one that's going to refer me all of their business and any business they can think of. So I need to take and preserve in their mind this idea that I'm on top of things, that I have them covered, and I'm looking out for them. And sometimes, you make one mistake like that, and you can wind up burning that bridge without even realizing it.
And here's another thing. This is, guys, listen, since we just got sound effects, let me start using sound effects here. When I give a very good tip, all right, I don't know, what can we give here for, give me some, let's use that is perfect right there. Get ready. This is a phenomenal tip right here. Do that one more time. I love the stupid guys. I just figured out today. I mean, this is our 8th one. I'm like a little kid here. We have sound effects, so bear with me. All right. Okay. So when you first meet a client, let's call it a buyer. Let's call it a seller. Walk them through the whole process. Absolutely. You want to talk about communication, Mr. Buyer? Let me tell you what's going to happen here. We're going to get you pre-qualified. It's going to fucking suck. You're going to have to bring every document that you've had and you've never had and that you thought you had and you didn't have. I mean, everything. The worst part of the process is getting pre-qualified.
Absolutely.
Here's the good news. Once we're done with that, the party's going to start.
That's good.
Okay? Now, all of a sudden, we know exactly what we're looking for, how we're looking for it, and everything like that. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to search for homes. All right? Guess what? We're in a hot market. So when you find one, we're going to have to put an offer right away because there's a lot of people. Or, hey, guess what? Maybe not. Maybe you're not in a hot market. We're going to go ahead. We're going to put in offers. We're going to counter offer. What is an offer? We sign it. We fill out the paperwork. We sign no, we can't say contract. Those are bad words. The paperwork or we okay the agreement or whatever.
Yep.
But you send in an offer.
Yeah.
Right. So they know that when they like a property, the document is an offer.
Absolutely.
And we're going to go ahead and do an offer. And guess what's going to usually come back, guys? Don't be fucking surprised when a counter offer comes in.
Absolutely.
Okay. What's a counter offer? They're going to scratch out the contract that we sent, and they're going to send it back with the changes. Now, if they sign every adjustments to the agreement, they're gonna okay it. All right. So use all those friendly real estate words, right? So if so they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna scratch it out and they're gonna send it to us. That's called a counter. Now, if they sign everything the way we send it to them, then all of a sudden we have an executed contract. But let's say they don't, and we go back and forth 100 times. You are in no obligation. There's no pressure to do this. So once we agree on everything, now that's called, and everything is signed, that's called an executed contract, and it's called an effective date, which is the birth date of the contract. Yep. Then all of a sudden, that's when the whole party starts. Everything is based on the effective date. We have inspections. Okay, so inspections, all the contracts that we do are as is with the right to inspect. So you have any reason whatsoever to get out of the contract within those first days.
Absolutely.
So remember, there's no pressure where we're countering and we're offering and counter offering. And then there's an inspection period. There's still no pressure there because if the wind blows hard, if you go there and you say, you know what, I don't like that doorknob, I want to get out for whatever reason, you have the right to inspect. So it's as is with the right to inspect within those 10 days, 15 days, whatever amount of time you can get. And now all of a sudden we go to the financing period and we're going to get you, remember we got you qualified. So now we have a certain amount to get you a commitment letter. So if we don't get that, we're going to do extensions. What's an extension? And blah, blah, blah. And you're going to walk them through the whole thing. And I tell my clients, I go, you know what my job is, guys? I'm going to tell you right now. I know you think that, I'm a realtor and I'm an expert and this and that. My only job All my expertise is to avoid one thing: surprises.
Absolutely.
But in order for me to tell you the surprises, here's the trick though. I'm gonna tell you there's gonna be fucking surprises.
Absolutely.
You know what's not gonna surprise you? That there is gonna be surprises.
I've told you.
I'm gonna walk you through it. And here's another thing. There's a real cool saying in real estate. It's not if something happens wrong, it's when something happens. So expect something to happen sometime in this process. Something is going to happen. Here's the good news. The chances of something happening that I can't handle are slim to none.
Right.
Now, I know you're new in the business. You're going to be like, hey, guess what? The chances of something happening that my broker can't handle, right? And I hope you have a broker that could to walk you through the stuff. But hey, if it's not you, it's somebody. Hold on to that somebody. Hey, listen, we're going to be able to figure it out. But you walk them through the whole process. Absolutely. And guess what? There's no surprises. So instead of, here's another thing, financing. The underwriter is going to come back with this magical word called a fucking condition.
Of course.
So what happens? Oh my God, I got conditions. The underwriter sent me a condition. And then you send it back and she's going to send you another one and then you're going to send it back. And we were just talking about that right now, right? So you're going to tell them there's going to be 10 conditions that the underwriter is going to send back. So guess what? When there's 2,
absolutely,
she's happy as hell. And when there's 10, there's no surprises.
It's like when you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you got a condition. Okay, so how do we fix it, right? It's a matter of taking it and getting that fixed. I think what you're doing and what you're talking about right now is really something that I talk about. I kind of summarizing the idea of credibility in the sense that it's not necessarily when you're telling them how the process is going to go so that they remember the whole thing. It's actually telling them so that they know that you know how it's going to go. And that gives them a sense of comfort to trust you to drive the ship.
But now walking your client through the process. If it's on the listing side, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put it on the market, and then we're going to show it. And sometimes realtors are going to show it, and sometimes buyers are going to show it, and you're going to walk them through the whole process.
Sometimes you're going to get a lowball offer and what that looks like and how we're going to handle
the inspection period, and we're going to walk them through the whole process.
100%. And it's so that they know, A, what's going to happen, but they're not going to remember it. They're going to know, but they're not going to necessarily remember.
I told you, though.
But exactly.
I said?
They're going to know, though, that I know. And that's what gives, as a listing agent, as a guy that goes in, and it is all about my pitch as to whether or not this customer is going to give. If I didn't have listings, I would have no business because I only really do listings now.
Right.
I know that I have to take and make them feel comfortable with one thing, me. They need to feel comfortable that I know what's going to go on. And on the listing side, that's much more obvious than on the buyer side. On the buyer side, you don't necessarily have to do what you're saying, but once you start doing it, that's when you have a buyer that's not going to go sleeping around on you. That buyer is not going to be making the circuit at the club. That buyer is now committed to you because they don't hear what you say from anybody else. You're something different.
Well, yeah, and to tell you what, on the opposite side, you don't tell them what's going to happen, and you don't call them, and you don't give them updates. Yeah, then you get mad because they're calling you to cancel your listing and they listed it with somebody else.
Absolutely. You know? Or you find out the buyer bought the house you showed them with a different agent.
Right.
All of these are things that can happen. So moving on because the list is long. Failure to prepare, not being prepared, either failing to read the listing before you call the other agent asking for showing instructions, which now sours the other agent on you. It's like, this guy can't even read the information I have in, or failing to read the listing before you go show a property. Your customer asks you a question about a property, and you go, it once again shows that you're not prepared, not ready to move.
Right, and here's the danger. There's real danger in that. You don't know, so you're gonna show 10 properties, right? You don't know which is the one that you're gonna put an offer on. You don't know, so it might be that one. And if it says, "Don't call me, text me,"
yep,
and you're the moron that calls, or if it says, "Don't call me or text me, email me," and you're the one who does both of the ones and don't email them, or you're the one that says, "Don't do anything, but press the button and do the show assist and do it on yourself." And
listen to what he's saying, guys.
There's no second chance for a first impression. We're full of sayings. Like I think we've thrown like a bunch of them today. So there's never a second chance for a first impression. Remember, that might be the realtor that you might have to be like, "Hey, man, I got an offer." And they have to be your best friend. If you start off by being the moron that just couldn't follow specific, easy instructions that are just completely spelled out on that listing, you're starting off on the wrong foot. So that's a big deal right there. I don't know if it merits a sound effect, but it might maybe like a clap.
Yeah, clap.
Let me see.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The audience approves.
But it's not the spaceship one.
You know, I mean, if you've just proved to the other agent that reading has been,
Why does that amuse me so much?
it's the little things in life, right?
Hey man, I mean, just smile on my face.
If you have just proved to the other agent that reading is beyond the pale of your ability because you couldn't read the simple instructions they laid out for you, I know for me as a listing agent, I do my best to make it as simple for my buyer's agents, whoever's going to show my property, to show my property. When they take what I've done, what I've worked hard to craft for them, and basically spit in my eye by not paying attention to it, I'm not going to lie. It irks me. It really upsets me a little bit. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm going to have to do a deal with this person. What is this going to be like? Where are they going to, how many different ways are they going to drop the ball that I'm going to be in damage control with the pooper scooper going up behind them, trying to clear up, not just on my end with my people. I'm going to be managing all of their vendors because down here, buyer typically picks and pays. I'm going to be dealing with their title company. God only knows if they're any good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be dealing with their mortgage broker. If they're working with this guy, how good could they be? You know what I mean? And so there's kind of this, I don't say it's a downward spiral, but you know, you get kind of suspicious as a veteran agent, as a person that's been doing this a little while. I want to work with somebody that has their crap together, you know, and is not going to waste anybody's time. So that's one, being prepared. Here's one that you brought up earlier: taking overpriced listings.
You know, that's a tricky one because it also depends on how overpriced it is.
And it depends on, to me, because I've done this. I talk on this a lot. I don't have a problem necessarily taking an overpriced listing if the customer knows that
I was just going to say that, yeah.
I'm saying to them, hey, look.
Communication. It goes back to communication.
100%. I don't have a problem taking the overpriced listing because I understand the customer's desire not to leave any money on the table. And I'll sit there and say to them, look, my business is not built on selling homes the fastest of anybody else, because what my business is built upon is a relationship. I want to make sure that between us, things are always good. You know that if I say something to you, you can take it to the bank. It's the truth.
Well, I like the way you put it there. Look, my business is not how fast I sell them; it's for how much I sell them. Like
Absolutely.
in reality, like I'm in a race to see how many millions of dollars. It's not how fast I could sell the least amount of dollars. So trust me, I wish your thing could be worth $10 million.
Absolutely, it would be better for everybody.
But I don't think so. So I am okay starting it at this number as long as you and I understand that logically. I've been wrong before, and all jokes aside, I've been very wrong before. I had a situation with a realtor that I told him, listen, there's no way it's going to sell for that. I'm supposed to be the guy who knows fucking everything here. I'm the guy who's done thousands and thousands of. I mean, even through the BPO era. I mean, I in a year, I probably did 3,000 CMAs or more. You know what I mean? So I'm the guy who's supposed. I've taught classes on it. I am a fucking expert in this
On valuation.
on valuation and understanding the market. I'm a fucking badass at this, dude. I was off by $100,000 on a $400,000 house. I told him there's no way. That's what I'm telling you. There's no way it's gonna sell for that. Okay. I said I would cut this off, or I don't know what it was, dude. I don't know what happened. It sold for that. So, and it goes back to
that seems like a first world problem at this point.
Listen, I love being wrong. You know what I mean? But it's listen. It's the nature of the business. If the business is hot enough, and you get the right appraiser there, and I don't know, the right house in the right neighborhood or something like that, it could happen. There is surprises in this. There is surprises in it.
My big thing is this, because it's such a relational thing for me on my listings, is I want them to understand that I am doing this price because I don't want them to have any fear that they sold this house for any less than they absolutely had to. But I also
and I don't want to know. I don't want to think it either.
Absolutely. And at the same time, I want them to know that I'm not telling them that I can get them that price, because it's important to me that I always tell them, hey, look, this is what I know I can do. I will try to do this thing for you, and I will try just as hard as if you gave it to me at the number that I'm saying. I will try just as hard for this higher number.
And there's nothing wrong with saying, because guess what, guys? It's an opinion of value. It's the word says it. It's an opinion. There's no right or wrong. It's an opinion of value. So the statistics say it should sell for this. This is this comparable, this comparable, this comparable. They're all the same. This is what the numbers say. But maybe, hey, we could sell it for this. I don't think so, but I sure hope so.
Yeah,
I sure hope so. Trust me. I'd rather tell you that I sold it for more than I sold it for less. But I also want to be on earth, and I want you guys to understand that this is probably highly probable that this is what is going to sell, because we are appraisals, there's three ways to appraise property, right? There's the income approach.
Yep.
On an income producing property, a shopping center, a apartment building. There's the cost comparison approach, which is for insurance. How much does it cost to rebuild
Yep.
this property? And there's a comparable approach, which is what we're going to use to sell your house. So we're going to get the numbers. This is what these sold for, and they're similar to yours, and the same square footage, and this is what it's probably going to sell for. We could do a mathematical equation and figure this shit out no more than 90 days back. But if it's a hot market, somebody's willing to pay it. Right? There might be somebody there that says, I don't care what the appraisal says. I want to pay for it. And that's fine. Let's give that a shot. But here's the real numbers.
Yeah, and I mean, my place, the place that I come from, the line that I like to use is, this is how the market has reacted to similar properties. This is what the market's reaction has been to these prices of these properties. It was listed at $390. It sold for $375. And so I always like to take and have it be one of the big things I always try to do is make sure I'm blaming the market for any valuation that goes down. Hey, look, I'd pay $1 million for it, but unfortunately, the market only seems to be willing to pay whatever. But saying that you're willing to take an overpriced listing means that you're going to be working and holding this listing for a longer period of time. Make sure you get the dollar value in advertising out of it by saying to the customer, hey, look, I'm doing this for you because how you feel about this sale is as important to me as actually selling it. I want to make sure that you feel good about what we've done here and that we've made you as much money as we possibly can. But understand this, I never want you to say that Josh told me he could do this and didn't do it. You want $390. The numbers are showing me $375. Yeah, I'll do $390. It's fine, but understand, I'm telling you, I can sell it. No one will sell it for a higher price than I will. I'm not going to concede that.
Yeah.
But I can know that I can sell it for $375. I don't know that I can sell it for $390. So as long as we're clear on that, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're cool, and I'll do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I would.
Yeah. We're on the same page on that for sure.
All right, next one.
What are we right now? So this is we're in the section of things most common mistakes. We're at number what? Number 2?
We're at number 4.
Look at that.
All right.
Out of how many do we have?
Well, actually, I scratched out a few. So
we were supposed to do like top 5 first, then top 10. I think we're like at top 17.
Yeah, we're up there. Well, a couple of them got wiped out into the other stuff that we did. So we're around 15, but we're good.
Right.
Not pre-qualifying buyers. I know it's one of your favorites.
Oh yeah. Back to the fact that this business, if you understand, somebody told me you should always have like a virtual imaginary Excel sheet when you're working real estate. And you got to be, my boy Mark again, another one of his sayings, right? You got to be greedy with your time. Be greedy with your time. If you're working and you have a job and they pay you X amount of dollars an hour, that's what it is. That's what your value is, right? But here you have an ability to play around with that Excel sheet and figure out what your dollar amount, what your per hour is valued. So if you work 100 hours, right, and you make $1,000, you're making $100 an hour. I think you know what I mean. I think I got that math wrong, but whatever. So you're able to play with those numbers to get paid what you want to pay. So what does that mean? That if you go in and you start working with a buyer that's not qualified, and you spend 100 hours, 200 hours, and you go ahead and you put an offer and they get it accepted, and you get to the closing date and they don't close, and you lose their deposit because you didn't do things right, you didn't read the contract, you just not only took a real big psychological blow, and again, one of the reasons why you would end up quitting real estate, but you've not only have you costed your client the deposit probably, but you spent a lot of time.
Sure.
A lot of time doing this. So this is one of the main reasons why people leave this business. Guys, I've been doing this, and I know you guys are probably tired of me saying this shit. I don't care. I'm gonna continue to say it. Over 20 years I've been doing this, and I've been doing most of it. 80% of the time because I didn't get into this business to be the best realtor. I got into it's like not getting into the game I never really wanted to play the game. I always wanted to coach the game. You see what I'm saying? So I've always looked at, even when I played a little bit, I've always, I'm just playing just to get to the coaching part already. The playing part didn't interest me, right? So I've been coaching, per se, in real estate and understanding what makes people tick for 80% of that time. I'm telling you, the biggest reason people leave this business is because, hey, all right, first buyer, you go all the way through, work hundreds of hours, it didn't close. All right, maybe you could take that hit. That's one kick in the nuts that maybe you could take. You do that 2 or 3 times. Oh, damn, that was awesome. You do that, exactly. You do that 2 or 3. I got to figure out why that amuses me so much one day. If you do that 2 or 3 times, you're gonna it's gonna take something out of you. It's gonna take something out of you, and then you're gonna be like the guy who says, "Well, this business is hard. Oh, it's really hard." No, dipshit. You didn't qualify the buyer. You only go out with a buyer if they have an actual approval. We like to do a desktop underwriter approval. If your lender that you trust, that you know won't screw you over and have you working for no reason, absolutely gives you the blessing. Unless that happens, you gotta have the discipline to not do it. And especially in a place like Miami, we always talk shit about Miami, you know, the closest place to the United States and all that stuff. Miami is the Ferrari culture, all right? There's somebody who makes $2,000 a month and spends $1,200 on his Ferrari. I mean, it's just it. Miami's that place. It's just a weird place. So no, you can't just say, oh, he has a nice car and he has jewelry and, you know, he has this and he has that. No, because all that stuff costs money. So you got to go based on the numbers. I don't care if and there's another thing. They say, well, how much you make? Well, I make $1 million. Oh, then you look and he has, you know, $1.2 million in expenses. So he doesn't make shit. He doesn't
show it on his tax return.
Or he doesn't show it, right. Or he hasn't declared any earnings forever. And that happens a lot with these self-employed borrowers, right? So they have a successful business. And it might be a known restaurant. Let's say a restaurant you've been going to forever. Okay, it's great. Oh, it's huge. This guy, you know, shows up in a Phantom and it's great. And this guy has all the money in the world, supposedly, but he hasn't declared any money for X amount of time. So what are you going to do? Can you go on a bank statement program? Well, I'm not going to get into that. But the point is, guys, easiest way to fail and to want to quit this business is working with an unqualified buyer. And do not blame it on the business. That shit pisses me off. Oh, the business is too hard. No, you're not following the rules. This business is hard, but it's not impossible. And if you follow the rules, not rules that I've created, rules that have been created in this business, it's not that bad.
It's not.
It really isn't.
It's not. All right. Here's one that I think we can both get behind big time. Now, this is a big Bigly. Absolutely. Huge. Not answering your phone.
Oof.
I think I want to take lead off on this one.
Sure.
And just say,
enjoy.
You are in a business that its main aspect is availability of communication. This is a business where deals go sideways all the time for the littlest of things, and often they're very time sensitive. Your ability to rescue a deal that's getting ready to die depends upon your ability to be reached in a timely fashion. A. B, it's just super disrespectful of all the other people that are working hard in the business trying to get your deal done, or your customers. I can't tell you how often I try to reach agents. I don't get them. I don't work with buyers often. There is one gentleman in Europe. He sends me money all the time to buy condos. He just buys condos. He loves condos. I am shocked when any agent answers their freaking phone. It is the surprise of the whole thing. I just called 5 agents over the weekend. Saturday, midday. Coronavirus, for God's sakes, where the hell are you?
Right.
Nobody answers their phone.
Yeah. It's something that really plagues the business. And look, listen, I'm gonna be honest. It has to do with the fact that anybody could get their real estate license, you know. And if you know, and I say this joking around, but not really, you know. I mean, I barely passed high school and I got my real estate license. You know, like anybody could get their real estate license, and that's the problem. So you have these people that, you know, are 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and they're part timers, and you know, and that type of stuff. So it's a big problem. I tell you what. I make sure that I always answer my phone. If I don't answer, I'll text you back. I can't right now. That's the worst you'll get from me. And I'm not a big firing people from the company type of stuff. I give people a lot of chances, and I understand, and I want to keep people around and everything like that. But you want to get thrown out of this company real quick, is don't answer your phone. I will go with 1, maybe 2 complaints about you not answering your phone. If people start calling here and say you're not answering the phone, you're gone. You're gone, because I find it disrespectful to the business. I find it disrespectful to you, but obviously you don't give a shit. So that really pisses me off. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
Amateur hour. Absolutely, 100%. And I'm going to kind of throw one more in there. This wasn't in the list, but I get emails from agents that have absolutely no signature block. So I have no way to call them. They just sent me an offer. I have a question about the offer they sent me. I have no way to.
It goes back to lack of professionalism.
I have to go reply to the email and hope they see it and give me a call back. You know, how do you not assume that the person that you're talking to may need a contact? I mean, what is this?
You
It's
know,
a Twilight
I'm
Zone.
gonna rewind for a second though, guys. If I could tell you, I could listen. I'm again. It's not a showing off thing. I've been doing this a long time. I've made millions of dollars in commissions in this business. Millions. I don't know how many. It'd be pretty cool to find out one day, and sit down and count. But I've made millions of dollars. Doesn't mean I have it all. I'm not doing a podcast on keeping your money. All right? I'm doing a podcast on fucking making money. All right, motherfuckers. But I've made millions of dollars in this business. I could tell you right now, one thing I hear all the time from big clients that I've made a lot of money with is, dude, you always pick up.
That's right.
Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's whatever, this guy answers the damn phone. The world could be falling apart. I know they're calling me because the world's falling apart. I know they're calling me to fucking go crazy because some deal fell through and holy shit, what are we gonna do? And I know the phone call's not going to be fun, and I will answer no matter what. I don't hide, right? I can't tell you how much money I've made just because of that.
Yep.
Just because of that. It's like possession is 9/10 of the law, or what's that other saying? 90% of it is just showing up.
Yep.
You know what showing up is? Answer your fucking phone. I promise you, you will make money because of it. I tell you what, I would tell you, most of the agents are here in my office right now, and most of the deals that we close is because agents that they know I will answer the phone every day, whether I'm in a pool, whether I'm in the boat, whether I'm jogging, whether I'm whatever. I'm going to. Now I'm human, but I mean, I answer the phone 99% of the time. Again, there's human part of it, and people call me when I'm sleeping, and Mike that was just here during the podcast. He's my friend now, but he's one of our agents here. He's one of the ones that shows up at my house. Hey, I'm outside, so, just to talk shit. He's one of those. So sometimes he'll call me at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I either I don't see it or I'm like, dude, I'm not talking to Mike right now. But you get that. But man, it's 9/10 of the law. Show up, whatever you want to call it, answer the phone. It will make you money. Guaranteed.
And even if you know it's a customer calling to yell at you or whatever, it doesn't matter. You take it.
Yeah.
You take
Good
it.
or bad.
Because the reality, again, when I say take it personally, there's one thing I know about my business. I answer my phone. I'm accountable. I'm always there.
Yeah.
Always. Same as
Yeah.
you. You want me, you're going to get me. And if it's bad, I'll take it. Let me yell at me. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'll figure out how to take and make it better if I can.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Super important.
Because you know whose
Super
business?
important.
It's my business. It's mine. I have to take possession of it. I have to take responsibility for it. So here's one. This one's yours.
Oh.
Not giving lead generation enough time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna rephrase that a little bit. It's not giving marketing enough time. So what I hear a lot is I started this new I did this marketing campaign, or I tried Facebook, or I tried Instagram, or I sent the emails, or whatever, and it doesn't work. I'm like, okay, well, how long you did it? Well, I sent out, I spent, I don't know, $10 or I did it once or everything like that. I get that a lot. Like it's almost like it's back to number 111, which is unrealistic expectations. I see a lot of unrealistic expectations with marketing. Guys, if every dollar you put in, you get $2 in marketing, can you imagine? Like this would be no fun. I mean, you put 100, you get 1,000, and then you put 1,000, you get a million. I mean, it's just obviously there's a art to it. Obviously there's a failure, and success ratio that you need to figure out, and not every door is going to be diamonds behind it. There's going to be piles of shit behind most of the doors. I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be huge steaming piles of shit behind most of the doors, marketing doors. But then you're going to have the ones that are diamonds, and and you got to give it enough time. The only thing, look, Ariel's here. Ariel, how many things have we tried? I can tell you that we've had more things so Ariel handles all our social media here, and our marketing is basically our marketing department. There's been a lot more things that haven't worked that have worked, so Hey, did it work? Hey, is it working? Yeah, it's working. Well, how's it going? And that's the conversation that we have. Is it working a lot or is it working a little bit? Well, it's working a lot. Is it costing a lot or is it costing a little bit? And that's really where we end up. But we try it and we try it and we try it and we try it until something hits. We tried one, the recruiting one the other day, and it hit. That was the first time. And it hit hard. Yeah. I'm like, no way. It hit. You got to be kidding me. Why hadn't we tried that before? That was the question. I don't know why we haven't tried that before. It's like, dude, it's obvious. Yeah, it is obvious. Like, what the hell? Are we crazy? Sometimes they're right in front of you and you don't try them.
Yep.
I did a podcast, a marketing podcast in Spanish the other day. So you weren't in it. It was, I had because my world is recruiting. You guys are getting clients and mine's recruiting, where I got I thought it was the best idea in the world. I got, $100. And while I was preparing my marketing stuff, I was like, I realized it was costing me about almost $1 for each mail out that I was sending, between the envelope and the stamp and the graphics and the fucking printing and this and that. I was like, it was like 90 cents.
And then not even counting your time to actually do it.
Right, exactly. Not counting the time, greeting with the time and the Excel sheet and the whole thing. Right. So, and I was like, dude, why don't I just put $1 in this thing and send it to the agents with just a simple handwritten note that says, this is the first, I don't know what sound effect, but hold on. There has to be one after this, all right? This is the first dollar you're going to make with Real Estate Empire. Boom! And they open the shit and just amazing. And I pictured it. There's no way on earth that they're going to say no to this. Dude, this guy's giving away dollars.
It's real money.
I want real money.
Not a fake check like we get all the time.
No. I went to the bank and I want the crispiest ones. I want brand new ones. I want like just, not one person called me. Not one person called. Exactly. I love this. All right. Not one person called me.
Yeah.
Not one fucking person called me. Now, imagine, that was a while back. Imagine, call it fifth. No, I'll tell you what, it was 2003. So that was 17 years ago. Imagine if I just said, oh man, recruiting doesn't work.
Well, it doesn't work, huh?
That's it. Well, hey, I gave it a shot. I mean, I put $100 into it. That's it. Would I have 350 agents right now? And would I, I've had the successful career that I have? No, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. So that's what I'm saying. Like, again, guys, I was positive this was going to work. Positive. I should try it again. To preach, practice what I preach. I should give it another shot. That would depress me so much. I never even tried it again. But I tried other things and other things and other things, and I didn't quit on the whole idea of recruiting because one idea didn't work. And that's what I see sometimes. Oh, I tried Facebook, so no marketing. Guys, I'm not kidding. Marketing doesn't work. What the fuck? Are you insane? What do you mean marketing? No, that marketing doesn't work. That particular marketing didn't work, by the way, that day. Right. That day. You know what? As an example, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that again. You got to remind me. I'm going to do that. I'm going to send the $100 again, and we're going to see what we're going to do. Let's give us another shot. And it might be the day. It might be the time. It might be a million things. Like when you post stuff, it's a certain. But whatever. I'm not going to go on that rant.
I think if you send the dollar with some little thing that makes that sound effect that he does, it's sold.
Right.
Yeah.
When they open it up, and does that shit.
Absolutely. All right. Here's one that we're both on. Not using a CRM. And I'm actually going to take and tie this together with one that I just wrote in, which I couldn't believe I missed. Not staying in touch. So yes, you want to go ahead. You want to?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make this very simple and very quick. A CRM, again, back into the real estate thing. And there's I don't know if we made it a rule or not, but I know we talked about being 1 foot in and 1 foot out, right? If real estate's not one of those things that you can have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, you just don't. And now that doesn't mean, because when I said that, Ariel's like, well, but don't say that because it's gonna be part-time people, and I'm like, that's not the point. You could have a full-time job. You could be like, Jesus, look, man, I got a 9 to 5, but I am in this. I want it. I am going to do this no matter what. This is what I'm gonna do. This is my life dream. I want to leave this shit job that I have, and I'm gonna work real estate. And all of a sudden, you're all in. You're not 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You are paying your bills, and then you're going to come in here. So having that 1 foot in, 1 foot out mentality is really what affects you with everything. So, and that's where the CRM comes in, right? Because if you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, all you're worried about is eating the fruits.
Yeah.
Right? So you're putting marketing, 5 fruits come in, and you're eating the fruit. Call it a mango.
Slumlord, yeah.
Yeah, let's call it mangoes because it's mango season in my neighborhood now. So there's mangoes everywhere. So you're putting in marketing, and there's 5 mangoes come in, and you're eating the mangoes, and you're throwing away the seeds. You're throwing away the seeds. Well, why are you throwing away the seeds? Because you're not thinking, well, I need to eat mangoes later on. And that's the same thing with clients. If you don't plant those seeds and you don't have a CRM that's going to tell you, call this person, they're not qualified right now, that doesn't mean I throw them away. That means I'm going to call them in 8 months because they're going to go ahead and I'm going to put them with my lender to make sure that they understand how to prepare their taxes so that they qualify for next year. If you don't do that hundreds of times, the next year, don't expect a raise.
Yeah.
Not a raise like somebody's going to give you. A raise like don't expect to sell more because we are in charge of ourselves and our raises. If you deal with call it 200 buyers, I don't know, 10 of them qualify right now. So you're closing 10 deals in a year. Let's just say those numbers, right? You still got another 180, 190, right, that didn't qualify. That if you work hard and you use a CRM and you put them in there and you plant those seeds, they're closing next year. If you don't, somebody else is closing them next year. And if you're working rents, what do you think? They're going to rent forever? They're going to buy at some point. Next year, the year after, 5 years. So you're real good at that. I mean, I've laughed because you've called me. I've been on your CRM a couple of times. I don't know how I ended up on your CRM, but you called me to say hello, and I start fucking laughing. All right, because Cadillac has it lined up. He's gonna go say X amount of time. He's going to say hello to somebody, people he does business with, and whatever. So now we see each other almost every day. But I guess I landed in there when we weren't seeing each other every day. So he'll call me.
You're still in there.
Buddy.
When I've just seen you, I move you. Just in case I don't see you for a while.
Hey man, what's up? I just want to see how you're doing. Huh? What's a CRM? Oh, what's a CRM? Okay, well,
it's a customer. That is a good question. I always forget. It's a customer relations management.
Customer relationship management system.
Yep, and it's basically they can be very simple. They can be very complicated. The way I look at it is similar to what you're saying. Basically, that fruit idea. But the idea that I have is I have customers that come in that they're ready to buy now, and then I have folks that maybe they have to get some stuff straightened out. And they're going to be ready to buy in 3 months. And then some folks that maybe they're not going to be ready to buy for a year and 2 years. If I nurture those relationships, 6 months from now, I have all the people that are coming in now that are ready to buy now. Plus, I have the people that weren't ready 3 months, 6 months ago, but now they're ready. So I'm getting all those closings now. And the folks that are coming in now, they're going to be ready 6 months from now. They're going to line up with the people that are ready. We're going to be ready a year from now, and with the people that are ready to close now. And so this is how you build a business, is constantly nurturing those relationships.
This business is percentages. The more people, and there's a pool. That pool is your client base, and that pool is in your CRM. So that CRM is a pool. The more people you put in that pool that CRM spits out, the better. So if it's 200, if it's 1,000, if it's 10,000, it just depends.
Realistically, this falls in for me as to the category of things that I'm willing to do that most agents fail to do. I call everybody a couple times, 3, 4 times a year. Everybody. I have customers that I met 11 years ago when I started that I have never done a deal with, that I still call, that we're doing a deal this year.
Yeah.
We're getting them done. Guess what? That is somebody that never hung up the phone on me. It's not a cold call I had to make. I spoke to them once. They don't tell me F you and die. They don't say that to me. I don't have to worry about that anymore. These are warm leads that all I have to do is just follow up
and
with.
And your call's as simple as, hey, man, how you doing? I just want to see how you're doing.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's literally it. Because I've gotten them.
Yeah. Hey, bud, I was just thinking about you. How you been? You just popped in my head. I have no idea how that happened.
Hey, it's magic, right?
It's just amazing.
Right.
But here's the thing. How many other people call you that way and say, hey, man, I was just thinking about you. How you been?
Right.
That phone call doesn't come in often.
Rare. Yeah.
And especially not with a business person, maybe a friend. But wait a second. Now I'm reframing myself to the customer as being more than just their agent. Guys, I want to be seen as more than just their agent. Because if I'm just their agent, I'm replaceable. If I'm their friend they have in real estate, that's much harder to replace. The competition has to work much harder to now replace me because I have a special place in their world. And I do that by investing in them. They invest in me, I invest in them. I want their investment, I have to invest back in them. Yeah. The CRM is the key tool, not just for that, though. My CRM is how I track where I am in all of my deals.
Dude, I'm kind of thinking this is a pretty good podcast. Like if you just follow, like for real, like seriously, like, listen, we got together and we're like, hey, what are we going to talk about today? And we started writing some shit down, right? And we're like, all right, these are important things. But if you just follow, this is almost like a roadmap. If you just so we talked about this business being hard. You want to make it easier, way easier? Write these down. Literally put them on the wall and follow every single one of them. If you have a question on one of them, if you have my number, text me. If you don't, go and DM me, right? And yeah, comment below, right? But if you just go through these roadmaps, I mean, this is a straight up roadmap. These are pitfalls that are going to save you hundreds and thousands of hours of wasting time.
And how do we learn all this? We learn this from pain and suffering.
Oh, yeah.
Pain and suffering on our own end.
The Edison way.
So by all means, please, my father used to tell me all the time, there's two ways to learn things. You can learn from other people's mistakes, or you can make the mistakes yourself.
Yeah.
Please learn from our pain and suffering. We're doing this to take and help you, help it to be easier for you.
Yeah.
Next one. This is one that I brought to the table today, not upselling. Taking and making the mistake when you're with customers of talking about, hey, did you see what Keeping Up with the Kardashians had on last night? And oh my gosh, the new Toyota is coming out. Everything else but the actual product that we're selling. I have people in the car and I'm going to show them rental properties. I am doing everything I can to turn them into buyers. Even though financially they cannot be a buyer right now, I want their purchase business a year from now, when I have convinced them that the best thing they can do for their financial future is not to buy that iPad, but to save their money for a down payment on a house, because that's going to let them afford iPads in the future, but send their kids to school, help them to retire. It's going to make their life better.
Well, one thing that I know you focus on is if you have somebody that's selling a property, right? You got to teach them how to invest in real estate. Like that's your upsell. That's your upsell right
100%.
there. Like, okay, it's not just about living in one. It's how do you invest in real estate?
If I'm going to show a buyer property, I want them to be thinking about their future. When somebody's buying a home, they're thinking about, hey, this is where we're going to live, and maybe kids and a family. I want them also thinking about their financial future at the same time. I want them thinking, man, I need to earmark some money to invest in real estate. Real estate's a great thing. How are they going to find out real estate's a great thing? Am I going to go expect them to go buy a book on real estate? No. They're sitting in a car for God knows how long with a real estate professional. If I don't talk to them about it, who the hell's going to talk to them about it? Right? This is my one opportunity to make my case for the thing that I believe so much in that I sell it every single day.
You make a living on it, right?
Yeah, look, I don't just sell this thing. I believe in this thing. So I think wasting the opportunity to upsell, and upsell is not the best word, to really just inform customers about the quality of the product that we sell. Our product is awesome, and you need to be talking about it. Here's a lighter topic, but a big one anyway. Bad pictures.
Yeah, this is an easy one. We're gonna rip right through one, guys. I'm gonna look into the camera here. Can you zoom in when you do that? Let me see. I'm gonna look in and I'm gonna look real serious. All right, I'm zoomed. All right, here we go. Guys, when you're going to go take a listing, take real pictures. I've seen horrendous, dark, that picture is everything. Like when you log in and you're looking at a home and it's on Zillow and everything, the guys that take the right angle and use the right filters and everything are going to sell more than the person who doesn't do it right. Very simple. We're going to haul ass right through with this one. Take real pictures. If you're going to take it through your iPhone, do it. But do it carefully. Do it right. Spend some time on it. Edit it, whatever. If not, spend $100 or $150 for a real photographer. Thank you.
This message brought to you by...
This message is brought to you right.
For me, I was in the food business for a long time. I owned restaurants, and one famous line in the restaurant business is "Eye appeal is buy appeal." It's got to look. It could taste amazing, but if it looks like garbage,
right,
you can't get people to want to put it in their mouth in the first place. So, making your listing look appetizing. One of the first things I did in the business was I bought books on photography because I knew it was going to be a big part of what I did. So finding ways to stand, positions to stand in that take and make the room look best. And you know what I do? I don't use, as convenient as it is, I don't use my phone to take the pictures. Even though the phone takes great pictures, I have a special camera with a wide angle lens.
Especially if you have a Samsung.
Oh, of course.
Don't take anything with a Samsung. Just get rid of that thing.
There you go. Half the audience is
well,
this guy.
Yeah.
I have a wide angle lens because a lot of times homes have smaller rooms, and if you don't have a wide angle lens, it makes the room look really small. So, the little things to take and make it look better. Moving on. I think we covered that quickly. Here's a little bit bigger topic: not setting goals.
Yeah. Let me. This is a pretty interesting example that I have here. So my son My son wrestles. Okay, so it's kind of like it's kind of cool because it's kind of like you're building an athlete. You know, we've got a lot of tournaments, got a lot of competitions, but it's also since I'm in this world where I'm constantly developing humans into better salespeople and everything. It's kind of cool to see it happen as a kid. You know, so look, right now, I got to be a proud dad. My son's ranked #1 in the country right now.
Awesome,
You know,
brother.
he thank you. It's been a lot of hard work. The kid, I mean, just when I was looking at my phone in a little bit, it's my wife telling me, do I take him to practice? I just realized that he's late to practice. So, it's by the way, it's quarantine and it's 1-on-1 and everybody's wearing masks. Okay. So
We were worried.
Don't start sending people there, just leave me alone. So the point is that it's like everything else. There's an older kid that was beating him, and we've been through a lot of those. I mean, it's been kids that we've had on the walls, and this is it's goals and it's goals. And kids are not really kids; they're not faces; they're goals. They're all right. I want to get this guy. I'm going to get the other. But there was one, and I had never really thought about it until that particular moment. I'm like, you know what? Let me write down the kid's name on the wall, all right? And let's put it as an actual goal. So we wrote a couple things. We're going to win this tournament. We're going to win that. And we're going to beat this kid.
A hit list.
He had lost to that kid 20 times prior. We wrote it down. It became a goal. He beat the shit out of the kid.
Nice.
I don't know what it is about writing stuff down. I don't know what it is about just having a goal, but it is, I'm not, kind of like I'm not Mr., what do you call it? Spiritual or religious or anything. I'm not that, but I definitely do think that the brain, the power of the mind is just magical. It's not sort of, it's magical.
Yep.
It's magical. And what you're able to do, and there's nothing more magical than actually sitting down and writing down your stuff. There's nothing more magical than visualizing your stuff. There's been athletes that it was what sport is it? It's one of those weird ass sports, but the guy decided to train only mentally for the Olympics. I gotta bring that up on another podcast, but it was it's either that, what's that weird one that you,
Oh, the
it's one of those.
oh my gosh.
One of those ancillary, weird ass fucking
I know exactly what you're
Olympic sports that shouldn't even be one, but it's one. And the guy was that
Curling.
Guy, yeah, curling. That it wasn't curling, but it was something as weird as curling. Even though curling might be the weirdest one. But have you seen curling before? Just
It
Google
involves
it.
a push broom.
It's a broom, and there's a thing, but you don't hit the thing. You hit around the thing so that the thing moves. I would love to study how it even became a sport. It would be pretty interesting to find out.
There was alcohol involved.
For sure.
And too much time in some of the
LSD and all kinds of stuff. Whoever came up with that.
It was Canada, I think.
But that explains it. So what was I saying? Oh, so this guy ended up just training. It was an experiment that he put him. So he wrote a book on it. Just 8 hours of mental training. Have you guys ever had a thought, and that just the thought gets your heart rate going, and it just puts you in a bad place? Just a thought, like,
Sure.
oh shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Or that, So same thing happens when you visualize seeing goals, visualizing your goals. It puts you there. It could put you there enough that is just like putting you there. So they've analyzed the brain. They've done these scans on the brain and everything like that. And mental training is like, it's almost 90%. The brain activity is almost 90% when you're doing it mentally than when you're doing it physically. So the problem is with real sports, I just called the other one a fake sport, but with real sports is that you also have to have physical, you have muscles, and
Muscle
you have to
memory
and condition and everything like that. But yeah, guys, writing goals is really everything. If you're able to sit down and write down your goals, your short-term and your long-term goals, it's going to make an immediate difference in
Absolutely.
in your career.
Absolutely. All right. Not using social media
All right.
or delegating it to someone else if you can't.
Listen, the fact that I am here right now doing a podcast, guys, if you think that I woke up in the morning one day and I'm like, wow, this is going to be the best thing in the world. No, I had to work my way into doing this, right? It's not natural. Sending videos out. I made a joke yesterday to my team here that I'm like, no, dude, I communicate through YouTube now. You know, I had yesterday I had to send a 2-minute message to my internal real estate team, and I was like, hey, Ariel was next to me. Go, hey, can you just turn this shit into a YouTube video real quick so I can send it out? And instead of just doing like what I usually do, record myself and send it out so I could get the message out. We turned it into a YouTube thing. We sent it out, and it was good. So what I'm trying to say is that social media, it's not, excuse me, it's not comfortable at the beginning, and it's kind of weird, and it's, you know, unless you're one of these people that love to take selfies and stuff like that, it's different, but it's not natural. But using social media is super important. Getting yourself out there, getting your message out there, getting the videos, doing all that uncomfortable stuff. It's gonna make a difference. I mean, kind of like you're I hate to call you one of the old schoolers.
I am a little bit. I am kind of resistant, but I mean,
you're getting it though.
I feel that the proselytizing of Mr. Ariel over here and his extensive guidance. I would definitely say that I took the short bus to social media school.
Yeah.
I was the kid in the back that they had the helmet on.
But you got an Instagram now. I mean, you're active. I've seen videos, man.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Communicating with the masses.
It's
you know?
true. You know what I did was I put a task in the CRM to make a video to send to Ariel.
Is it?
It's absolutely. I swear to God. You know, you
do you call Ariel and go, hey, Ariel, how you doing today, man? I just thought about you.
I'm not gonna lie. You know, there might be 80 tasks, and when it gets down like the last two or three,
shit. Do you postpone it a little bit?
I usually put it because normally I don't know what I want to talk about, and I have to like stop and sit there and say, okay, you know, what do I have for people today? That's because I can't do what a lot of people do, which is just to say something.
Yeah.
For me, I have to feel like I'm saying something worthwhile. Otherwise, I don't want to waste people's time.
No, and your brain works a little bit different. Like just so you guys don't see the behind the scenes stuff here and everything, but it's usually kind of like, so what are we gonna talk about today? I'm like, I don't know, man. We'll figure it out. I don't know. We'll figure. Like the day before, he's like, what are we gonna talk about tomorrow? I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there and stuff like that. So, but Cadillac's brain works a little bit different. He wants to have shit written down and organized and everything like that. So it's a lot harder for him to just show up and do a video because he's like, he wants it programmed and everything like that. But hey, look, thanks to him, we've gone through how many topics today? Actually, I surprised you. I wrote some shit down this time.
We only got 4 left, I think.
Oh, look at that.
3 or 4.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
but
yeah, the point is, listen, look, you know, I've done 3 hours of podcast pretty much today, and it, you know, like everything else, you get over it, and it becomes a little bit less uncomfortable. And
no, absolutely.
You know, do I postpone videos anymore? No, I really don't. I'm just not thinking about it right now. I don't. I've worked my way into it specifically in the last month, and fuck it, let's do the video. Yeah. Just like knocking on a door or making a cold call. You know, it is what it is.
You've grown, and that's important in the business. Hey, it's important to grow. And I mean, I can say 100%. I've been resistant to this for a long time, but you know, it's important to grow and to not resist change.
You've done this just as much as hours. I'm just thinking about you've done it just as many hours as I have this month.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Fear's over, bud.
And so, I mean, it's one of the things I always respect about my dad. My dad was always ready to look for the new innovation and see what I mean, I was 50 he was 50 when I was born. So he was not a spring chicken when I came around. And I mean, you know, he saw that when the internet came out, like he was buying all those stock. He saw it. He knew it was going to be a thing. And like, he was always, but the man had a bunch of patents to his name. I mean, he had
done, that's cool. Real cool.
Interesting guy. So, I mean, I always respected that, and yet I find myself naturally being resistant to some things, and I know I need to not. So, you know,
if I could get you to learn Spanish, man,
I'd be dangerous.
Tell you what, man,
but then again, if I learned it from you, I fear
I did not recommend that at all, buddy. You learn all the bad words first, you know.
I don't know what's going on, Jesus. I told the girl just what you said to tell her, and she keeps slapping me. It keeps happening. What's going on?
But you could probably learn Spanish in.
Oh no, I don't really think I'm gifted in
3
that
months,
department.
man. 3 months. 3 months.
I don't know. We'll have to. That'll be on the next
and
goal sheet.
All your girlfriends are usually Spanish speakers.
Recently, that's been a new trend for me. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Been trending in that direction.
That's another social media word right there.
There we go. All right. So here's another one for you. Ignoring important dates in the contract. This is one you brought up.
Yeah. And let me tell you the reason why. It's very technical, and it's almost like for a contract class or a contract podcast, but I do see a lot of people make severe mistakes on contracts that gets them out of the business, right? It's like if you lose a client's deposit, client loses 20 grand because of your fuck up. That's not good for your real estate career. It's not good for your self-esteem. It's not good for your confidence. It's not good for your anything. So
it's not good.
It's not good. So look, in my office, and I'm not here to say that our office is the best or anything like that. That's not the point of the podcast. I would love to, and I think it's the truth, but it's not the point. Like, I have to consciously tell myself things are separate. So, podcast is one thing, my company is another thing. So, but in our office, we put like 3 or 4 different safeguards to avoid people from making those mistakes. There's checks and balances so that new realtors can't make those mistakes. To avoid that, losing a client's deposits. Well, I'm proud to say I've never had any, complaints on FRAC or the real estate commission or anything like that. It's because we have these checks and balances. But if you don't have those checks and balances, and if you are one of those people that are in those 100% companies which I have no problem with, unless if you have experience, but if you're brand new,
yeah,
you are in the wrong place, and you're going to make a mistake, and you're going to lose somebody's deposit. It's a big problem. 100% companies are a big problem in our business. And I always tell people, look, when people come in here and they start talking about 100% companies, when I'm recruiting and I'm interviewing, I'm like, listen, just do me a favor. Don't come to my company. Mm-hmm. I don't want you here. And I'm saying that because I want you to understand that what I'm about to tell you is from my heart. Go anywhere but 100% company, because you're not going to. I am a purist. I am going to be in this business for probably another 20 years. Who knows? I always say I'm going to retire and I'm going to sell the company. Who knows? The reality is I probably won't. But if you don't have somebody there that's helping you out, and if you don't have somebody there that is walking you through these contracts, you're going to make serious mistakes that are going to get you in serious trouble, and there's going to be serious repercussions. So go to a company that's going to help you out
and get you out of the industry. I mean, it's going
to get you out of the industry if you're losing those deposits. So you got to learn your contracts. You got to learn them in and out. And if you're not in a company that's there to help you out, guys, here's another thing, and we should call this a thing. You don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
I'm going to say it again. Yeah. Give me a fucking. Give me the. You don't know what you don't know. There's a book, Donald Rumsfeld. You don't know what you don't know, right? You think you know real estate. You think you've come to a couple classes, but guys, I'm in this business 20 years. All right, I said it a million times, and I'm still learning every single day. That's not a cliche. That's for real. I'm learning every single day. The fact that you've been in this for a year and you think you know your shit it's ridiculous. It's insulting. It's asinine. It's ignorant. It's 100%. It's everything. This business there's so many different variations to it that it's scary. There's so many things that could go wrong. There's so many moving parts that it's just overwhelming sometimes. So learning the contract, having somebody there to back you up, whether it's if you're not getting that in your company, you got to go somewhere else. And isn't that the next one?
It's a couple of ways. We're close.
Right. So and I'm going to skip to it if you don't mind. The other one is make sure you pick the right company. So it's kind of going hand in hand.
Well, I'm going to say let me put one out there, because this is one my father used to say the same thing, which is, it's not what you know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know that isn't so.
Yeah.
And so agents
and what you don't know.
Well, what you don't know, at least you know that you don't know it, maybe. But it's when you know something, like it's this way, and it turns out it's not that way, that's where you really put the foot squarely in mouth. And, there's no recovery from that.
Yeah.
And so, no, I think that, and I can say from my standpoint, having worked at other companies and working with you guys here, the amount of structure was actually surprising to me, because I came from someplace that was very much a sandbox. You do what you do, and if there's a problem,
we're not going to say the name of the company, but it's again, it doesn't really matter what franchise you are, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, there's big franchises out there that have a lot of infrastructure nationally, but they don't have that one-on-one infrastructure that's really going to walk you through, and especially new. Like in your case, it doesn't really matter. You got your own stuff already, and it doesn't really. But if you're a brand new realtor, you need people walking you through stuff. You need it. You absolutely need it. If you think you don't, you're insane. Believe me, you're fucking nuts. There's so many things that could go wrong in this thing that it's crazy. It's like looking at a car and thinking you're like an engineer, that anything goes wrong with the car, you'll be able to fix it. No, you can't. You can't fix brakes. You can't fix hoses. You can't. I mean, it's that complex of a business. But if you have somebody walking you through it, you're gonna be okay. But if you don't, you're gonna make huge mistakes, like making mistakes on the contracts. You're gonna lose people's deposits, and you're gonna have attorneys involved, and you're gonna have a big issue. So again, I'm covering 2 and 1, but pick the right company, man.
I think what you're saying is, because I know that you don't want to scare people out of the business. I think the place to come from is you need to have a healthy respect for the business.
And pick the right. I'm scaring them out of the wrong company.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's the place that I'm going.
I want to scare them.
I scare them, but not so scared that they think this is beyond them. This is not beyond anyone to do. It's having a healthy enough respect for the business to understand that it is complex. You're dealing with large sums of money. For a lot of people, it is the largest transaction they will ever do in their entire lives. And so there's an amount of responsibility there. And having the people there to back you up, to make sure that, hey, you don't make a silly mistake, that you don't miss a timeline in there, that, hey, we had a second deposit on this thing and the deposit didn't go in. Right. Hey, your deal's dead now.
There's a direct correlation from the people that I know or have success in this business. And again, I see who does and who doesn't, right? And there's trends to it, and there's a rhythm to it, right? The ones that have been with me for 5 years or more, and they're still calling me saying, hey, what do you think about this? Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that make it.
Sure.
Hey, look, I just got this counter offer. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
The ones that have been in this for 6 months and they just are out there cowboy style, those are the ones that get into trouble. So got to be careful with that.
Yeah, healthy. It's like
healthy respect, like a gun.
It's like working with a lion.
Yeah.
You're never really safe
ever.
And so having that healthy
Have you seen
respect.
Lion King, by the way?
I've seen the movie.
No, not Lion King. What's it called? Tiger King.
Oh, that thing? Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, man, that thing is a phenomenon.
Yeah, it is.
Weird.
We can't get into it, but it's very. Weird. Whoever hasn't watched it, go today. Set aside 10 hours.
Everybody's watched it.
I think everybody's watched it, man. But wow, have you seen it? Yeah.
I was driving someplace, and the guy had on the back windshield of his car, like a honk if what's her name, Carol Baskin.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, and I was up in, I don't know where I was, like I'm in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So, all right, discounting commissions.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, discounting commissions is another reason people leave the business. It's another huge mistake. It's kind of both. You're discounting yourself. You're just discounting yourself. And I get a lot of cases. So remember, it's kind of weird because I'm looking at it in my perspective. But I think the best example to give you guys is looking at it from my perspective. So I get realtors that'll say, "Hey, Jesus, I had to give half of my commission. Are you okay with that?" As a broker, I gotta okay it. I'm like, no, I'm not okay with it. The fact that you're giving away half your commission only says that you're not prepared. And I'm telling you right now, the same people that I get that from are the ones that don't come to classes, right? So every once in a while, I'll get it from a veteran, and we'll walk, and they'll call me and go, "Hey, they'll keep me in the loop on it, and then we'll make the decision together," type of stuff, and then I'm okay with it. But I get the ones that'll call me and be like, "Hey, I just I give half. I'm giving half the commission." No, give away half your money if you want. You're not giving away half my money. And what happens is, and the reason why I do it that hardcore is because, man, I give how many hours? How many hours are negotiation class here?
Negotiations 4 hours.
Right, and our objections class
4 hours.
Right, so it's all the other classes. I mean, you go through here. And I'm assuming in the companies you're at, or you prepare yourself through hundreds of hours of preparation, so that when they tell you that, you know exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to combat that. And no, you don't negotiate your commission for family, for friends, for anybody. You just don't. It doesn't happen. But it doesn't happen because you got to prepare yourself for it not to happen.
Absolutely.
And that's really. So what happens is, if you're not prepared, if you're not getting the training, if you're in, again, I'm shitting a little bit on these 100% companies, but if you started in the business and you're one of these 100% companies, but you're 100%, but you're always giving away your commissions, guess what? You're not 100% anymore.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that, you got to prepare yourself. You got to negotiate. You got to practice. You got to ask the right questions. You got to go through the right training. Guys, I can't tell you the last time I've given away commission. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. If you're prepared enough, if you're trained enough, if you've educated yourself enough, you will never, ever have to give away your commission. And if you do it, you're doing it for a friend because you feel like it, and that's fine. But that's in a position of power, not a position of somebody bullying you into giving half your commission or whatever. So, and people will ask. I don't know if it's. I mean, in Miami, everybody asks. So I don't know if in whatever city you're at, it's not that way. But yeah.
All right. Actually, this is kind of a big one that we have near the end, and I kind of think we touched on a little bit, but ignoring sphere of influence.
Yeah. One of your classes that you gave said that 43%.
The buyer's agent boot camp. Yeah, no, it's over 40.
43.
It's close to 50% of all business comes either from your direct sphere of influence or being referred from somebody else that knows you.
All right, and it was in the first year, so let's make sure we understand this. In your first year in the business, if you go after, I don't want to use the word attack, but if you, focus on your circle of influence, that means everybody everybody in your contacts, go to your phone. If you have an iPhone, you have a Samsung, you're lost, just like you're lost in life. If you go on your iPhone and you scroll all the way down into your contacts, it'll say a number. It literally says how many contacts you have.
Yep.
It'll say 1,500. It'll be, I think I have like 1,300 or something like that. So what a circle of influence mean? Everybody on there. You call every single person on there. Everybody on your Facebook. Why the hell you have Facebook? Just to have friends and talk shit? No, they're your Facebook friends. So let them know that you're in real estate. Your Instagram friends, your friends from high school, you're from everybody. They need to know you're in real estate. The way to do it is to how many do you got?
I don't want to. My phone's on tilt. It says I have one contact. I scrolled down for like 10 days.
Yeah, that's obviously wrong. So everybody, whatever listing you have, whatever listing your company has. So here, what I do is I tell the agents, hey, whatever listing we have in the office, go ahead and put it on your social media, letting them know, and giving it the appearance that it's your listing. You're not lying. You're saying, hey, it's an office listing. I'm putting it on there. Just sold, just closed, just this, and you start getting your circle of influence involved in your transactions. You don't want to call them and say, hey, guess what? I got my license yesterday.
Yeah, that's not
I haven't
usually the
done
best
anything.
point.
Yeah, you do it a little bit more casual, more carefully than that, and you start sending them information and say, hey, by the way, here, I just got this listing and what do you think and everything like that. So yeah, your circle of influence, again, huge numbers. It is more in your first year. It is going to be, I think the exact number was 43%, if I remember correctly, Cadillac.
Sounds about right.
It sounds, I don't know, I stuck in my head for some reason. So imagine it is 43%, okay? That means that 43% of realtors realtors that have been in the business in the first year, 43% of their transactions are from circle of influence. So that's it. And I also remember that internet marketing was 6%.
Yep.
So I remember those two numbers from your class as wow. I was like, what the heck?
That's where we need to focus.
You got to be kidding me. So the lowest lying fruit, back to the fruit, right? Fruit example I'm always giving. Lowest lying fruit is your circle of influence.
Absolutely.
Is your circle of influence. And you're going to either eat it right away or you're going to put it right back in that farm and it's going to continue to grow. And those people, they know you, they feel a lot more comfortable. So yeah.
Yeah, they feel like you're going to do what's right for them.
Yeah.
The last one is actually the one we just talked about, but I'll just take and I'll throw a little bouquet out there. When you talk about education and being in an office that supports you, one of the things that struck me, because I met you at a CCIM class, I didn't know your office or anything like that. When I came, you actually had me come put some classes on for you, and I looked at your education calendar, and there was something on there every single day. Every single day there was something that you were, whether it's mortgages or whatever it was. There was something on there.
Yeah,
every
literally,
single day.
we try to have classes every single day. And again, and listen, I appreciate the compliments, and if you're not in the area, you got to look for a company similar to that actually cares that you have a class every single day on some subject matter in particular. And the reason why you're coming here for these classes, because your classes are cool as hell, and it's information that people need to know. So that's why you're coming in and teaching these classes, because it's useful information, and we want to give it to them.
And then that's an important part of it. I mean, I know that I've been places where I've been given classes, and you sit there and it's just like, please kill me now. When is this going to be over? And so, there definitely is a focus on and I mean, I think you even get that from these podcasts in general. There's a focus on like, let's cut through all the noise and get to the real nitty gritty. This is what to do and this is why to do it. This is why this matters, And so I think that's very important in education and even in your consultations. Hey, look, this is what you do and this is why you should do it. Not just take and tell people, hey, do this. Hey, this is what you do and this is why you need to do it. And so, taking that holistic approach to take and treat people like adults and say, hey, this is your business and this is how you go. I think it's a good thing. And providing the support, the back office people, it's been a revelation compared to some of the other things that I've seen.
And guys, not for nothing, but this whole this podcasting, it's new to us. I tell you what, this is the best podcast that we've given as far as useful information. This is literally, and we put it together pretty quickly, and it's funny. That's what experience does. We could put some shit together. As I'm going through it, I mean, it's literally a roadmap. Like if for real, if you just follow these, print them out, go one by one, it's gonna make a difference. Just follow these rules. These are not rules that I created. They're just rules that just come along with this business. If you follow this, you're gonna kick ass. Seriously, like take it as serious as you possibly can. Cadillac, you're the man, bro. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks
brother,
again,
thank
brother.
you.
Really appreciate it.
No.
Yeah, baby. The laugh one. Right? There's a laugh one, right? There we go. Oh man, I'm like 3 years old.
Makes me happy on the inside.